What is good guys, James here. Today's video is about Kallari, my favourite character to play in Paragon. More specifically we'll be talking about the build order that I use, the rotation to use when playing, and the general ebb and flow of how to play Kallari. As you can see on the screen, the ability order is for both for PC and PS4. You want to be starting out with the E skill, which is Kallari's Blood Dagger, which causes 1% of the player's maximum health to be bled over 5 seconds. When playing as Kallari, this will be your main go-to weapon. Kallari only has 3 damaging abilities, one of those being her ultimate and the other being her basic attack. Next up is Kallari's Shadow Walk ability, which is what you'll be using to escape after combat. Although this tool is extremely useful, remember that if enemies are in shadow pools, or if there is another Kallari on the other team, they can always see where you are. Also bear in mind that whenever Kallari is in the shadow plane, she emits a noise, and those listening carefully can track it. After all this, you want to unlock her backflip ability, using the right mouse button or R1. This, paired with Shadow Plane, is how you will get in and out of tricky situations. Once you have unlocked all of these, you've got all of Kallari's tools. Now it's time for the ultimate, which is where the game gets interesting. Kallari has arguably one of the best ultimate abilities in Paragon. Under the right circumstances, Kallari's ultimate can completely wipe out the enemy team. How you use it is the trickiest part. You are going to want to look for opponents who are already fighting one of your teammates and are distracted, sneaking up on them and potentially crippling them. As you see in this clip here, these 2 opponents are fighting one of my teammates. As you can see, we go for the weaker opponent, using our ultimate ability. That isn't quite enough, so we finish him off with the Blood Dagger. Realising the damage is done and I probably can't win a stand-up fight without any abilities, I leave using Shadow Plane. This is an almost perfect example of how to get out of there with Kallari after doing the damage. With this rotation, don't forget that Kallari is not a carrier or a laner, she's a jungler. Meaning you want to spend your time building levels through killing minions in the jungles, planting harvesters to collect amber, and once you unlock your ultimate ability, ganking other lanes whenever it is up. After your first recall you should have about 3 card points. I usually spend this on a Windcarver blade for the attack speed and physical damage. From there on it's more about upgrades, and whether or not you are willing to save up 3 every single time to go big, or just spend 2 and get quick upgrades. When going for upgrades you want to find the perfect balance between cooldown reduction and physical damage. I always steer towards physical damage as the output is always much more important, but remember that Kallari does rely heavily on abilities. At the start of the match you want to buy a health potion, a mana potion and a harvester key. These are what I use at the start of every single game as they are your foundations. With Kallari, matchups are massively important. Characters like Muriel, once they have momentum, are incredibly hard to take out. Through jungling and probing using your ganks, you'll work out which characters are hard to play against. Either avoid them or wait till they are vulnerable. Here you can see my custom Kallari deck. The Warlord is usually the prime helix for the physical damage. It also shows which choice I make on the equipment cards, and which upgrades I carry. Usually I stack a lot of critical strike, physical damage and attack speed. But deck building completely depends on what it is you are wanting to do with your character. Another viable option could be cooldown reduction, as Kallari relies so heavily on her abilities, but the choice is completely yours. After you learn the build order, the rotation, and building a deck that works for you, I'm sure you can have just as much fun with Kallari as I do. As always guys, leave a like if you found the video helpful, and subscribe for future guides. Peace!